Howdy folks, Jabberiki here. Disney straight-to-video sequels have a rather poor reputation, often seen as creatively bankrupt bargain bin fodder, and each one was rushed out fast by a money-hungry Disney. But some of these films did actually try to push the boundaries of straight-to-video limitations. In this video, I'm going to be counting down my picks for the top 5 darkest Disney straight-to-video sequels. This list is less about the quality of said films, and more centered on highlighting dime store sequels that are surprisingly bleak or mature. Let's begin. The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. When the circus comes to Paris, a series of robberies start taking place, which makes Phoebus very suspicious. Meanwhile, the owner of the circus, Sarouche, commands his assistant, Madeleine, to seduce Quasimodo the bell ringer, so that the villain can steal La Fidèle, Notre Dame's jewel-encrusted bell. Sure, Hunchback 2 is nowhere near as dark as the original, not even close, because it lacks a lot of the same gothic atmosphere and dramatic scale, but when Hunchback 2 is stand next to other straight-to-video Disney sequels, it does stand out as one of the gloomier entries. A big reason why is Sarouche. Of course, this guy is nowhere near as scary as Frollo. Heck, he's downright campy and weird.
I could kiss me, but I'd fall in love.
But he's still a very authentic portrayal of real-life predatory narcissists. You see, Sarouche found Madeleine as a starving orphan child, took her into his circus, and groomed her into a star. To this day, he uses abusive language to belittle or control her, from nicknaming her trinket to make her feel like just a pretty object, or mocking her for thinking for herself, to threatening to return her to the streets to guilt her into doing his bidding.
And where would you be without me?
On the streets.
Precisely. For it's a cold world out there.
For a girl like me. What do I do?
Lovely.
Now, he's forcing her to con an innocent disabled man, under threat of her livelihood and Quasi's own safety, all while Madeleine herself finds a kindred soul in Quasi, being the first man to ever see her as a human being.
Do you really think there's more to me than what you see? That I have something else to give?
I do.
There's a truly despicable cruelty to this setup, when these two were clearly meant for each other, and could have ended up dating naturally without Sarouche's conspiracy being the inciting motive. Maddie can't even appreciate her dates with Quasimodo, because she sees Sarouche's creepy face wherever she goes. She's that haunted by him. Sarouche's evil doesn't stop there though, because he's even willing to throw Maddie under the bus during Phoebus' investigation, while also manipulatively using his own grooming victim's real backstory to twist his own selfless hero narrative. Ugh, gross.
Oh, it's true, Captain. And it's my fault.
You're confessing?
Absolutely. She's my responsibility. See, she's been a thief since she was 6. I thought I could break her of it if I gave her a job, a place to call home.
Oh, and once Sarouche makes his getaway with La Fidèle, he's completely happy to turn Phoebus' son into a hostage, to bribe Phoebus into letting him escape, with voice actor Haley Joel Osment giving the kid an eerily realistic sound of a child in genuine peril.
I see things a bit differently.
Mama! Papa!
While I wouldn't say that Hunchback 2 is a good movie, I mean, I think it's one of the worst straight-to-video Disney sequels ever made, I have to admit that it's dark enough to be on this specific list. Cinderella: A Twist in Time. Lady Tremaine and her daughters Anastasia and Drusilla find out that Cinderella discovered a happy ending thanks to a fairy godmother, so they steal her godmother's wand, accidentally petrify the fairy, and turn back time to steal Cinder's life from her, by brainwashing the prince into thinking that he danced with Anastasia that night. This film shows Lady Tremaine at her most threatening ever, because she's now armed with a powerful wand, and is charming her way into a position of power at the palace, all while she uses her own daughter as a tool to slide her way to the top.
He wasn't as powerful as
You do want the prince to love you, don't you?
Open up!
Well, yes. Yes, of course I do. More than anything.
Then do exactly as I say.
Even though Anastasia herself, who longs for true love, is gradually feeling remorse for her part in a mum's scheme, but she's also under the impression that this may be her only path to finding romantic happiness. Her family has made her feel that insecure.
He was nice to me.
That's because he's under a spell. He'd have to be to fall for you.
Once Cinders works out what's happening, the film becomes even more nail-biting, because she now has to retrieve the wand from her abusive stepmother, the very woman who caused her years of torment, while also avoiding being recognized.
Keep out of the maid's way, girl. There's a lot to do before the wedding. Isn't that right, Cinderella?
That's another thing about this film. Cinderella is having to relive her domestic abuse all over again, but with extra steps this time because Tremaine has an even bigger upper hand. It's especially creepy how Tremaine gaslights her stepdaughter into thinking that her dance with the prince never actually happened.
You may have danced with him. You may even have thought it was love, but the slipper fits Anastasia, and that's who he's marrying. Whatever you think happened last night was a dream.
The prince suffers from an equally disturbing mental trauma, with Tremaine altering his very own memories, which has serious consequences on his well-being when he starts questioning his fabricated reality.
You're under a spell. That's why you don't remember me. Please, just listen.
There's also lots of nightmare fuel to come from the sequel too. Like, when Cinderella gets back her life, Anastasia is transformed into an eerie doppelganger with intentions of replacing her.
Will you be happy?
I want what you had.
But do you even love him?
Love. Look where it's gotten you.
Tremaine then traps Cinders in a mutant pumpkin carriage helmed by an uncanny valley human version of Lucifer the cat as he drives recklessly around dangerous environments. It's like some kind of twisted nightmare parody of Cinderella's Special Night. Many consider this film to be the best straight-to-video Disney sequel, and I think it's mainly because it pushes the Cinderella story into a darker direction that really excites Disney fans. Aladdin and the King of Thieves. When Aladdin finds out from a magical oracle that his dad is still alive, he ventures off to find him, only to learn that his dad is Cassim, the wanted King of Thieves. The evil Saluk, who has always wanted Cassim's throne, challenges Aladdin to a battle, but loses his balance and falls. Then, Aladdin invites Cassim, in disguise, to the palace, where he'll attend Aladdin and Jasmine's wedding. Unfortunately, Cassim is way more interested in finding the golden hand of Midas. Meanwhile, Saluk turns out to be alive, has taken over the 40 Thieves, and plans to get to Midas's hand first. While this film does have a lively, fun atmosphere thanks to wedding excitement, and the return of Robin Williams as the genie,
there's a party here in Agrabah, and it's starting right away. Let's get you dressed, cause you're the star! Hey, come on, it's your wedding day!
it's still the sad story of Aladdin facing his abandonment issues, and the frustrations over having a dad who cares more about stealing.
We never wanted gold. We wanted you. I wanted a father. I still do.
It's kind of disturbing how much gold mania has taken over Cassim, with his obsession with Midas's hand consuming his every waking moment.
It's just a myth.
It's not a myth, boy. It was once right here. Look, there's your proof. From stern to stem, every piece of rigging, every peg and board, all of it, solid gold!
At the same time, Saluk makes for one intimidating baddie. A bulky villain with gold knuckle dusters as a trademark weapon. He's so brutally strong and confident that he even wrestles a shark and actually wins? Oh, and the fight between Aladdin and Saluk is quite wild. There's something almost apocalyptic to the intense colours, lighting and elements, plus it gets surprisingly violent too. When our characters finally reach the hand of Midas, our heroes outwit the arrogant Saluk, and he's turned into a golden statue while screaming in agony. It's pure nightmare fuel, and one of the most unsettling Disney villain deaths ever. Atlantis, Milo's return. In this Atlantis the Lost Empire sequel, Milo, Kida, and the rest of the gang go on a worldwide adventure to investigate supernatural mysteries and work out their connections to Atlantean culture. This film is actually 3 episodes of a cancelled Atlantis TV show stitched together, and you can tell that's exactly what it is. While I personally think that this film misses a lot of creative potential because it wastes some fascinating concepts by rushing them into cheaply animated after-school cartoons, this is still actually maybe the closest we've ever been given to a Disney animated horror anthology movie, and younger kids might be frightened by its content. Not only does the film feature a variety of monsters, including a grotesque tentacled sea beast, mysterious red-eyed coyote spirits, and giant elemental creatures, but each story also stars some pretty sinister or strange human characters too. I think the story that will disturb kids the most would have to be the Lovecraftian tale of a kraken who's taken over a Scandinavian town. Everyone in this community is either giving off shady vibes.
Nice to meet you. My name is Milo
I doubt
Thatch.
there is anything in Krakenstad that concerns you.
Or living in fear of their own home place.
Lives have been taken at sea. and I suspect in this town.
I would love to let my little one play outside again.
Oh, and it's so creepily foggy here that the townspeople have actually forgotten what sunshine looks like anymore. This story also has a lot of unsettling possession scenes too, in which beloved Disney characters become green-eyed zombies and put everyone in serious danger.
What are you waiting for? Fire the...
Could this have been a better and even darker film? Oh sure, absolutely, and older audiences will come out of it feeling severely disappointed, but I can still see how the folklore horror in this movie would maybe traumatize sensitive children. Before I reveal my number one choice, I'd just like to let viewers know that I frequently upload videos on dark animated media, so if that kind of content is your cup of tea, then please consider clicking the subscribe button. The Lion King 2 Simba's Pride. Simba is now a father to a daughter called Kiara, who loves exploring and hunting. One day, Kiara befriends another lion cub, Kovu, but we learn that he's the son of Zira, leader of the Outlanders, a pride that's been cast out to a dry, barren land because they're fanatical followers of Scar's cult, and Kovu happens to be Scar's chosen one. Zira is adamant to get revenge on Simba for their banishment, so she raises Kovu into a killing machine with a one-track mind. His mission is to get close to Kiara and assassinate Simba. However, Kovu and Kiara end up falling in love, which completely changes everything. I've always felt sorry for Kovu as a character, an innocent lion who has been filled with hatred, taught Scar propaganda, and never experienced a normal childhood, with his cultish upbringing leading to him being torn over who he really is.
My father said there was a darkness in Scar that he couldn't escape.
Maybe there's a darkness in me, too.
There's also a tragedy to the Outlanders, because they're victims of a narcissist cult who have been brainwashed to worship Scar. They're not much different to real-life members of cults. These are mentally troubled lions who need help, but they've been resigned to suffer in a wasteland. Zira is clearly declining in sanity the most, becoming more and more unstable.
It's over, Simba! I have dreamed of nothing else for years.
Her hunger for revenge is even more important to her than her own children, leaving one cub feeling so neglected that he loses his life trying to impress her.
Luke, I'm sorry, Mother. I tried. Shh.
It's very obvious that Mufasa's death still haunts Simba too, and it's this childhood trauma that makes it hard for him to forgive Scar's followers or give Kovu a chance. Both leaders are letting their insecurities or obsessions deter them from making the right decisions, resulting in a rather intense war scene for a Disney sequel.
Go for the eye! Break his jaw! Hit him low! Get him! Do what you must!
The Lion King 2 remains the darkest straight-to-video Disney sequel to me because of its disturbing story of lost childhood, cult fanaticism, and the horrors of war, hence why I knew it would be my number one pick from the beginning. So those are my choices. Which is the darkest straight-to-video Disney sequel you've seen? Let everyone know in the comments below. I've been Jabariki, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. Cheerio folks.